It's not enough to just know the effort you have to put in, discipline you need, Like I said, that's what helped me get back on track, when I was slacking. The knowing is what got me back on track. But yo, what's up, gang? It's your boy 8K. Yo, what's up, guys? Missed you. Happy New Year. Hope you guys are good.
Hey guys, it's Wells. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are doing okay. Happy New Year from us to you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we can get straight into it.
Yeah, okay, let's get into it.
Okay, so it's a new year. I think people are very focused on like the, I'm gonna call it cliche because I think it's cliche, but the New Year's resolutions of like, this is what I want to do this year. This is what I want to get done. And funny enough, today is the 20th of January, and the 17th of January is labeled the day that people people quit their resolutions. So for those that have, and I'm going to ask you, for those that have and for those that are thinking of quitting or think they will quit, like how would you say that, like, to get back into it and also just carry on going, like with your goals? Like how are you going to do that for yourself?
Okay, so I think obviously we all get excited, end of the year. We think, new year, new me. It is exciting, the idea and thought of being able to start again, to try again, erase everything you did wrong, did right, just start again. So we set out a lot for ourselves, we want to conquer everything. And I think a lot of them are unrealistic, so I think it does make sense for some of them, most of them, for you to actually not conquer those, to fail at them, because even when you set them out, I think it was out of excitement, not really looking at how did I perform last year and now I'm setting these goals. It's more so, new year, let me set these goals. So I think really for me and I think it's how I approach my day. So what I've set out to do, 30% of that's what I'll probably focus on and try to get done and be happy with that. And that comes down to my biggest goals. So I think just being realistic, be realistic with yourself. Because now if you're also trying to do 100 new things, your mind is everywhere, and now you end up failing at all of them. If you had just set out realistic goals for 1, 2, 3, 4 things that you can actually do, then it's easier to track them. Because like we were saying earlier, you can't see progress if you don't track progress. But you can't be tracking a million things and trying to. So
very true.
And yourself, bro.
I like the point of like being realistic with it. I think, and this is a thing that you've probably heard before, but when people say to you, like, if you want to get in the gym, because I feel like that's probably one of the most common, I think that's even like a study, going to the gym or like having some sort of gym related goal is like the most common thing among people with New Year's resolutions. But I think like going into it, telling yourself that you're going to gym every single day, like for 4 hours or whatever the frick, is probably the thing that like scares you away from doing it, right? But like being realistic about it and saying, okay, maybe I'll go twice, because like you said, like if you didn't go to the gym last year at all, how on earth, like, as much as you can have self-belief, but like how realistic is it for you to think that you can go into the gym in a place where you haven't been before ever, or at least in a long time, and think that you can bang out the craziest sessions and bench, 100 kgs in a week
with discipline that you hadn't built already?
Like where does that come from? It's like it's almost fabricated. So that's the one thing, is like being realistic, but also like doing like a self analysis of like your capabilities of achieving those goals. So it's still being realistic, but I'm talking more like to the personal aspect of it, of like you say that you want to do A, B, C, and D, but you know that you're not the type of person who can commit to that. That's probably why people end up failing. And I think to do that is to do the exact opposite. Plan it out. Find people that will hold you accountable for real. And just set realistic things. Start small and then go big,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now with that, I think I want to take it a step back, right? So let's say now we're at the point where you feel like you haven't, fine, it's been Quitter's Day, and you are part of that 90% where you aren't on track to meeting those resolutions, those goals. but let's say it's because you just didn't set the right goals, you didn't do it properly. So now taking a step back, what advice would you give, or how do you, when you, like now towards the end of this year or coming into this year, how did you decide what was important, what you could actually do, what is attainable, and what you were going to put down and commit to? For someone, let's say they realize now they've done it wrong, but they want to start again now.
I think the main thing that helped me decide that is the size of my ambition. That was the number one thing. But my ambition is only that big because of the action I know that I can put in. So that is like understanding, like I said, doing a self-analysis of like my capabilities, but then also building on past goals that have been accomplished, not ones that I wanted to do. Because again, if I wanted to make 100K last year and I didn't make 100K last year, it makes no sense to say I'm going to make $1 million this year. But if I'm not saying, anyway, if I did, then the next thing would be, okay, you can probably build on that and get to that point. So it's building on past goals that have been achieved. That's the way I kind of align with myself, and also testing the waters of like, I know what kind of challenge I can handle, so I'll set that challenge up for myself, so being realistic.
I like
yourself.
That. I think what I would tell anyone in that situation is replace, don't add. I think we enter the new year thinking that it's a clean slate, that I can add as many new things as I want, but you're forgetting that your bad habits that you carry are coming in the year with you. The things that you didn't want to see yourself doing, the things that maybe you are doing, but you'd rather be doing something else, they're still coming with you. So don't just add things as if you weren't doing anything before, rather think of it as replacing. So I want to stop smoking, replace with go to the gym. I want to stop whatever it is, then replace with that. I think that's a good place to start, getting rid of the things that were holding you back, because there's a reason why maybe you didn't reach all the goals that you did last year, or the ones that you're in this moment now saying, damn, I still am not on track to reaching this. It's the beginning of the year. So what is stopping you from doing all of that? So look at that and cut that out, and then you can replace with what you want to substitute that with. Because I think trying to add so many things on while you're still dealing with the baggage you're carrying on you, it's impossible for you to it's impossible for it to work out, because the baggage is just too heavy. Your mind is going to be everywhere. So
I think also another, like, an interesting thing about it, and so for me, this is a bit of like a double-edged sword in a way, because I don't believe in cutting yourself slack, but I also do at the same time. So like, for example, like, don't beat yourself up. You know what I mean? If you are part of the people who didn't necessarily achieve like what they wanted to last year, because once you do that, you kind of like discourage yourself and you hurt your ego, you hurt your confidence. And I think that's kind of another thing why people sometimes don't even go into the year with resolutions. It's because they failed the year before and they tell themselves that they're not capable of doing those type of things. So that's what I mean when I say don't beat yourself up, is don't like dwell in the things that you failed to do. Rather ask yourself, like, how can I be better at that? And it goes back to all of the stuff that we're saying, is like, apply a different mindset to it, be realistic in your goals, build on things that you have done before, build on skills that you've done before. Like, I also think people set like these goals that are specifically like gym focused or like finance focused. Like, why don't you focus on I don't know, praying every day? Or why don't you make that a goal, something that is within your skill set, and then build on that, bro. You know what I mean?
I hear that. I hear that.
But then now I want to ask you then is like, let's reminisce a little bit. How did you like, were you satisfied with your year last year, like in terms of the goals that you set and everything, and how are you going to do, or if you are, what are you going to do differently this year?
Yes and no with being satisfied. And I think it may be that same double-edged sword that you spoke about. I think the no in my answer is I'm aware of every time I slacked. We've had the conversations, I've told you, you've held me accountable. I'm aware of all the times when I could have done better, and it was merely a decision, and I'm aware of that. I'm aware of where I could have improved, where I could have tried harder, and because of that, I guess I'm not satisfied, because I know that's, not even just, oh, I was resting. No, it's not resting. It's not doing the things I was meant to do, So I think in that aspect, I'm not satisfied, or I wasn't satisfied. But, in the same breath, where I was the year prior was, I don't so far apart from what I achieved.
Are you saying 2022?
Yeah, 2022 was so far out of myself then was such an entirely different person, and the year that I had was completely different to the year I had last year. So I'm still able to be the reason that I feel bad for these, not the small, but the times that I did slack, I did do this, just shows how much I've grown in the year, because I'm able to hold myself accountable for these things, be aware of these things. And yeah, okay, I won't lie, I had an amazing year. Business-wise, I had a very amazing year. So I am very proud of myself.
What are the forces that kept you going, or that helped you up in terms of that?
In terms of,
give me the top 3, or even just your favorite one. And I'm gonna make it harder for you. Don't say God.
Don't say God.
Don't say God.
Okay.
Outside of the Father.
My subconscious mind.
Break it down. If you wanna.
To be honest, and I think that's my only answer. My subconscious mind. I have a lot of conversations with people about, once you know something, you can't unknow it. Like I always say, the position we're in now, we're fucked. Like if you ever wanted to go back to not having your mind race about, all these making it, reaching success, doing all of this, going back to living like how you were before, you wouldn't be able to, because you'll eternally know the truths, and whether you do it or not, it'll always eat at you. You'll always beat yourself up that you're not doing this, so you're fucked, So my subconscious mind, even when things were bad, when I wasn't being consistent, I wasn't disciplined, I never didn't know. And because I never didn't know, I was always able to come back and apply what I know, Yeah.
Damn.
Yourself?
What was the first question I asked you?
Shit, nigga. Sorry, guys.
I asked you, are you satisfied with your year last year?
Oh, yes.
I mean, no. Granted, I'm aware that I achieved a lot of things, but I was still not satisfied. But that's just my internal. That's just me. I don't know. I say that to say I don't think I'll ever be. I'm happy though with the things that I did achieve, but satisfied I wouldn't necessarily say so. And then the forces that help me with that is yo, dude, I think it's just the dogma, the thought process of it's just you. Everything comes down to you. And for some people, I think that puts a lot of immense pressure. And I'm not saying advocating for that and saying that that's the type of pressure you should put on yourself, because you really shouldn't. But for me, it's just that thing of you. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? When you think of the way that other people look at you, not that it matters, but what do they see? When you compare yourself now to the version that you want to be, it still comes down to you. You now versus the future you, although things can change over time, it's still the same person fundamentally, right? It's still the same body, still the same name, still the same whatever. So that's kind of what kept me in place, is looking at myself when I'm 50 and think is he happy with what's going on now? And if not, then make a change for it, and I don't say that to say that I'm living for my future self, but I'm building for my future self. So that's probably the main thing that kept me going. It's just that you, full stop.
Fuck, okay,
all the fucking time.
That. Okay, and now, what do you think? And this is going to be difficult because I know there was a lot of lessons learned last year. But your biggest, the one that you think either hit the hardest, gave you the most, not the most, but that epiphany moment, whatever it was, the lesson that you will never forget, no matter what, from last year.
You have to age up, bro. Yeah, you have to grow up. I think, and just our generation, in just as a whole, I feel we're very much still tied to a lot of things from the past, and also very tied to present moments, which is cool. But I don't think being tied to them is the most effective thing that you can do in your life. That's just my belief on it. But yeah, is aging up. That's the biggest thing. Is like you need to grow up, bro. Especially if you're somebody who aligns themselves with things that are bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
Like me saying I want to be a billionaire, you saying you want to be a billionaire, or I don't think you've ever explicitly said that. So I'm
Nah,
not
I
putting
want
that
to
on
be
you.
a billionaire.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, now that you've explicitly said that, like you aligning yourself with that, like again, conceptualize that. What does that mean? Will you be able to achieve that now, living the life that you're living as like somebody who maybe is still in high school, or somebody who still thinks like not an adult, or someone who doesn't think like a billionaire? You need to age up to get to that point, you know? That's probably the biggest thing. That's the nutshell I can put it in. Yeah.
I like that.
And you?
Oof. I think it ties in with what I said now about the subconscious mind, but I think my biggest lesson is it's not enough to just know. It's not enough to just know the work you have to do. It's not enough to just know the effort you have to put in, the discipline you need, you know. Like I said, that's what helped me get back on track, you know, when I was slacking. The knowing is what got me back on track. But why was I not on track? Because knowing wasn't enough. I still need to actually put in the action. I need to do the work. The work doesn't care whether you know it needs to be done or not. It just wants to be done. So yeah, I think my biggest lesson was knowing is not enough. You need to act on that knowledge.
Real.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me read you something from my journal.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
I did like so this is I wrote this on the 12th of Jan this year now. So it's called Onwards and Upwards. So I was basically just like, so this is my 2023 journal, by the way. Like it's full, it's finished. I have another one upstairs for this year. But I'll just read like some little excerpts from it. Okay, so I'll read like the closing to it. So I said, two future worlds. We've got the ball rolling. You understand the mission. You are driven. You are a dog, and your work ethic is insane because you are obsessed. Nah, keep using that as your fuel. In the end, be consistent. Stay sharp. Always pick up the intensity. When it comes down to it, it's you versus you. Don't you dare give up. That trait exists nowhere inside of you. Any trace of it was planted by influences that must be discarded. Stay winning. Stay thriving. To 1 billion we go. To 1 billion we go. And I feel like for me now, like reminiscing on things is like so important.
Yeah.
It's so important because it's like you say, like you need to look back, dude, and you need to tell yourself that not knowing is not what was it?
Yeah. Knowing is not enough.
Knowing is not enough, right? I don't know where I'm going with this, but the point of what I'm trying to say is like I feel like looking back on your past times and comparing it to your future self, if you don't do that, like you're kind of following blindly in the direction that you're going, because it's like if you don't know what the past version of yourself was and you don't know what the version of yourself is going to be, then what's the point of the shit that you're doing now? And I'm not saying don't live in the moment. I'm not saying don't create memories, but like if you have big goals, like what the frick are you doing? You know?
It's also no point in learning the lessons if you're not going to use them, you know?
Yeah.
What I went through last year, in that year, I was writing stuff, I was telling myself stuff, I was doing stuff, you know, as I was learning the lessons. So it wouldn't make sense for me not to look back and, you know, reflect on those things, to look at what I was thinking, what I was saying, what I was feeling, and actually learn. It's not, maybe I learned last year, but I'm in a better position now. Who says I haven't forgotten, you know? So remind yourself, look back and be like, okay, what did I actually learn? What can I take? And how can I use everything from, like you said, you know, we're not living in the past, but how can I use those things to help guide me to where I want to get to, so I don't make the same mistakes, I don't follow the same path, you know, that I was taking when I had to learn that lesson, you know, and help yourself get closer to the future version of yourself.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
A lot of people would say that like the thought processes and stuff that we've spoken about today are like very toxic and very hindering because it can be very obsessive. Yeah, so I'm gonna ask you, like, what do you say to that? Like, what would your counter be? Somebody comes here and they say, Amo, that is very nice, and I'm glad that you are bettering yourself with those different thought processes. But sometimes it can be very toxic because it can prevent you from enjoying things. It can prevent you from living in the moment and enjoying what's actually happening. Like somebody who just criticizes that thought process, what would you say? Like, what would be your rebuttal to that person?
Honestly, I would say that I'm glad. I'm glad that you're able to have that view, because it means that you understand yourself, you understand your values, you understand your yourself as a person, and you were able to listen to what I said, take what made sense to you, but then also notice what didn't make sense to you. You were able to critically analyze what I said as a human being, and not think that what I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying, I'm not 100% right. And
Yeah.
like I said, there is no wrong or right, only wrong or right relative to what your goal is. So that person that says that they are right, and me who disagrees with them, I am right, because we have different goals, and relative to our goals,
Yeah, I
we
was
are
gonna
right.
say. Yeah.
You know, I had a chat literally last night. Someone asked me my views on Andrew Tate, and I said the same thing. I said, I'm a person, I've said multiple times, who is able to listen to someone, read something, absorb information, and be able to filter out what is going to benefit me, what works for me, and what is just that person's opinion, or what is just it like, I don't have to agree with everything, you know. So I wouldn't expect people to agree with everything I'm saying. I think, damn, I'd be hacked if people agreed with everything I was saying, because then, you know, I'm just normal.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my response. Yourself?
Fuck, no, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I think, yeah, same sort of narrative. Like, I think for me, I always say this, but like the things that we speak about here, I feel like most people who strive for the same things that we strive for, it resonates with. And again, like for me, I just answer the same way and say that, yeah, it's right to you, but it's also right to me. But for me, it's wrong to you, because that means that you're just not that type of person, like at all. Like, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting to live like a humble life and do this and that, or, you know, want to live on a surf shop and on the ocean. But like, that just means that you don't want to be a billionaire, and therefore it won't make sense to you. But to me, it's wrong, because you don't want to be a billionaire, you want to be a surfer. And my thing would also be, I'd question that person to say, like, why do you think that way? Like, are you thinking that way because that's just your internal belief, or have you tried it and you have like actual first-hand experience with that situation for you to say, nah, that's a wrong way to think, or you're wrong for purporting that message, you know? Yeah, because I feel like sometimes a lot of people's opinions are put onto them, you know what I mean? Or it's like followed because it's the majority, or it's like, that's what everyone else says, so I'll say that to you. But that person could be the next Steve Jobs if they actually follow through with that, because that's what they resonate the most with, you know? It goes back to, I think we spoke about like original thoughts, like how do you know what original thought is, or like how do you deal with different information, type of stuff. So yeah, that's probably it. I don't know, it's very interesting to think.
But you know, it is gonna come, right? Like,
it already has, bro.
Yeah,
people have said to me that like the things, the way that I live my life, the way that I go about my shit is like very toxic to myself, and I'm just like, for you, like I'm cool with my thing, like.
I have a question though.
Okay.
And it's something I've thought about myself, right?
Okay.
You know those situations, or like, let's say now it's a movie. This guy who is striving for success, doing whatever, and now he's not sleeping, he's drinking coffee all the time, so not a balanced life, but fine, we're not striving for balance, but he is now unhealthy in his ways, you know, trying to get this, it's affecting his health, it's affecting XYZ, and his peers or his friends or family tell him, dude, you're working too hard, you're doing this, you're not doing this right. Obviously from his perspective, this is what he has to do to get there. Have you ever, because I remember someone once said to me, because I was awake at like 5 a.m. and I've had been working the whole time, they're like, you know, at some point, bro, you are going to develop sleep problems, you are going to do what? And I was like, they like painted out the bigger picture of like me as an adult man with like all these. I said, whoa, bro, like what? Am I, is that how you guys see me? Like, am I a workaholic? Am I a non-sleeper? Whatever the fuck.
An insomniac.
You know. So I was like, do you ever sit and be like, okay, shit, I know that like, you feel that this is right for you, but there's a possibility that you might be developing, you know,
negative habits and negative effects for your body.
And the people that are saying this, is not just that, maybe for the most part, is that they don't see the same vision as you, but then also they are realistic and see it for what it is.
I think 100%. Like you definitely get blinded by it all, because like it's, if something becomes a part of your character, the way you carry yourself, the way you go about your life, it affects your lifestyle, it changes everything. Then like you're all gonna be a bit biased to it. Like when sometimes you're like, maybe that isn't the best thing. Like sometimes you even go as far as defending it. Like nah, but it has to be like this, and I'm guilty of that 100%. But I mean, sometimes I do think about it, like not sleeping, like sleeping for 3 hours or 4 hours, 2 hours, not sleeping at all. Like that shit. And some people say it's counterproductive. Like you really think it's working, but to me, it makes sense. To me, it's worked. I've seen the benefits of it, but I haven't seen the negatives of it yet. So that's why I'm saying it's biased. Because like someone can say to me, when you're 80, you'll have Alzheimer's. You'll probably get Alzheimer's because you barely sleep. But I'm not 80 yet, so I don't see it.
Yeah.
And even though you're right in the long term, because I haven't reached where I want to get yet, I won't take it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have a really messed up mentality about it. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of just like, don't tell me about that because you don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Which
they're
is fair.
probably right.
Nah.
Yeah. And you?
Like I said, bro, when my boy said that to me, I was like, fuck.
But
And
did it put it into perspective for you, and did it change anything? Or were you just like, ugh?
I think in that moment, it kind of like took me out of my own perspective for a second. Because I was like, imagine that movie scene. This is my friend reaching out to me saying, hey buddy, you know, I think you have a problem. And
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
in your life.
that's kind of how I saw it, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because I laughed it off. I'm like, don't worry, dog. You know me. I'm cool. I'm gonna sleep now. I knew
But
I
like
wasn't gonna
maybe
sleep.
he's concerned.
Yeah,
Like,
so
maybe
I
he's
was like,
oh, dude, I'm okay.
Yeah. So
Yo.
that's kind of why.
Kinda.
That's kind of why.
Kaya what?
That's kind of why I thought of that movie scenario. But I don't think it's something that's on my mind a lot. Not even a lot. It's hardly on my mind. I'm just doing my thing, bro.
Yeah, man. I think like obviously you don't want to get to a point where you feel the effects of it. Like you don't want to get to a point where like you like having a heart problem because you were drinking too much coffee and caffeine, right? But it's also like if it doesn't happen, then maybe it's not actually happening. I don't know, bro. I don't think I'm the right person to talk to about this, because I do know that the way I go about my life can be pretty toxic. But
I think to wrap this part up, just listen to your body. You know, there's no routine, whatever that anyone can tell you that is custom made for you. You know your body. You know how your body reacts to certain schedules, certain routines. So just listen to your body. You know, keep yourself healthy. Keep yourself on top of your game. And when you're on the pursuit of this, there are times where you have to sacrifice. You know, if you're in uni, you have a business, you taking care of your parents, or you're doing what, you're not going to have the luxury of sleeping as often as you want, you know. And it's unfortunate for the time being, and it sucks that you have to sometimes put yourself through that, but we're not aiming to make this a lifestyle. It's understanding that for this day, this 2 days, this year, this, you know, I have to do this, but look at it as only that, a season or a day or a time frame that I need to mistreat or not listen to my body say, now I know I should be sleeping.
It's gotta happen,
you know. But just listen to your body.
100%.
Listen to your body.
I think man. I think we can close it off there.
Yeah. Nah.
So
what you were saying now made me think of a quote, specifically what you were saying about when someone says in 80 years, this is what you could get Alzheimer's, right? But you're saying that, well, I'm not 80 and I don't see that, so I'm cool now, right? So I'm not like saying that you're wrong or anything, but it made me think of a quote, and it's regarding change as a person. And it says the reason that change is so difficult is because we're only able to see what we could lose, but not see and understand what we could gain, you know. And I've obviously seen firsthand experience myself that maybe it sucks that I'm going to stop drinking now, but the effects that it have, you know, I may think is maybe just my health, it's just my skin, but it could lead to me now being focused, to me saving money, to me, you know, so many other things that you can't see.
I hear you.
And I think just to close this off, when you're thinking of something that you need to change, something that you know that you want to get rid of or get better at, just remember that what you see yourself letting go of now is the only thing you can see. You have no representation, understanding of what it is you could be gaining. So don't try to compare it to what it is you're giving up, because you're making comparison with something you don't even know.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair game.
Yeah, guys.
What a way to close it off, man.
Yeah, guys. So thanks for tuning in again. First episode of the year. I'm gonna put you in the spot a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the goal? What's the goal for this year in terms of the channel? What?
In terms of the channel specifically?
Yeah.
I think, we're definitely gonna have some more very interesting people on. People from different industries, people from across the board, different ambitions, different career paths, just to talk to them and figure out how they deal with all of the stuff that we talk about. Because we're very I would say we're pretty biased because we speak very much to our just like one life goal, but like people have different goals. Like, for example, someone who started a company to better the environment. How did they go about that, and how are they making sure they get to that point? Achieving goals in different ways. And just influencing you guys, getting more people to be comfortable in this journey to success, and knowing that you guys aren't alone, especially people our age. You guys are, we're here, and we're on it together, man.
Yeah, 100. I think I just like to see more comments. Whether on the social
engagement.
media, engagement. On the YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, and that's really just so we are able to speak. I don't just want to be a guy on the screen. I'm a real life person who can have real life conversations with whoever is enjoying this. Get feedback, give feedback. Because the point really is community,
100%.
To share the wisdom, knowledge through community. And I think that, I think really that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that 100%. I want that too, guys. I want that too. So, like, comment, subscribe, share with your homies, let them know what is going on down here. And good luck. Good luck.
You've got this. Like, genuinely, you've got this. Just believe in yourself and be obedient to the truth.
Yeah, we're on the way. We'll see you on the road, and we'll see you at the top.
Yep.
Nice.